Bitter criticism. This time we are going to read Pepe Escobar because it's been a long time. I've been reading a lot of Russia Today, a lot of CGTN, a lot of Al Jazeera too. So here we go. There was 115 messages from Pepe. Pepe the Great. Pepe's name is John, José. In English, you say José. And here we go. Something in English, YouTube, something from Zero Edge. Pepe Escobar from Idlib to Davos. Al Qaeda linked Syrian official on main stage at WEF. Zero Edge. Tony Blair or something. From Idlib to Davos. Al Qaeda linked Syrian official on main stage at WEF by Tyler Durden. A US designated terrorist group still remains the current de facto ruling entity in Damascus and over Syria. But for the West, all that matters is that Al Qaeda linked Jolani is not Assad. A decade plus long proxy war is in pursuit of regime change finally overthrew the secular Ba'ath government early last month and resulted in the hardline Islamists of Ayat Tahrir al-Sham (HTS) controlling most of the country. The West appears to be fully embracing the new rulers, which we previously referred to as Al-Qaeda in suits. This week we have been treated to the spectacle of a HTS representative speaking on the main stage at Davos. He's come a long way from Idlib and its black flags. Straight to the red carpet jet seating, champagne sipping insider atmosphere of world elites. I'm going to read it again. That was nice from Pepe. Straight to the red carpet jet setting, champagne sipping insider atmosphere of world elites. Yeah, this is pretty interesting because in fact this group it was banned like Al Qaeda, and now I read twice. Syria's new HTS appointed Foreign Minister Assad Hassan al-Shaibani told the World Economic Forum on Wednesday that Saudi Arabia is now the exemplar for Syria to follow. Quote, where do we see inspiration for the new Syria? We have the Vision 2030 of Saudi Arabia. Al-Shaibani said during a conversation with former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair. Quote, we need Syria to be a place of peace, to be a place of development, a place free of war. The top HTS diplomat added. On top of the irony of an AK-linked, Al-Qaeda-linked official being invited to Davos, and merely within less than 2 months after HTS took power, there's the added irony that Tony Blair, one of Bush's key allies, who pushed the 2003 invasion of Iraq, was hosting the Davos main stage discussion with al-Shaibani. Pretty ironic. Former leader like Blair, in overthrowing Saddam Hussein, are responsible for having overseen the sectarian and Islamist nightmare which gripped Iraq and the region in the aftermath. The rise of ISIS would not have been possible if it weren't for the US UK shock and awe regime change operation. For example, later, the West and Gulf states founded the Syrian insurgency, during which time Al Qaeda in Iraq jihadists poured across the border into Syria. HTS was born out of this West-backed anti-Assad jihad. It was known as Nusra Front in the beginning, but of course the Davos elites are embracing it all: war crimes and jihad. Meanwhile, in Syria, HTS has allowed ISIS-linked foreign fighters to intimidate the population with impunity. Alawites, Jews, and Christians live in fear as sectarian-driven killings are on the rise in the liberated Syria, especially in Homs, Latakia, and coastal and countryside regions. This Blair extract from Shaibani a firm commitment to protect Syria's Christians and uphold secularism for Syria at Davos? Of course not. The future looks bleak as Jolani has pledged the eventual implementation of Sharia law. Already there have been widespread reports of alcohol stores being smashed, women forced to wear the Islamic veil, and impose separation of the sexes in many public spaces. But the WEF has enthusiastically greeted this new Syria stand. And that's it. A good article, a small article from Pepe, but all is all ironic, as he said. Good to read another previous one's strategic culture.su news. As you saw, there's Donald Trump and his wife, Pepe, written by Pepe Escobar, the age of also Pepe Escobar, the age of interplanetary exceptionalism. Pepe Escobar. Only the US can rebrand a genocide into a great real estate opportunity in a quote-unquote phenomenal location. Let's start with the key takeaway: manifest destiny, reaching the stars literally. Trump 2.0, the greatest show on earth, did start with a big bang. Quote, "We'll pursue our manifest destiny into the stars," end quote. And that means planting the American flag on Mars. The real thing, not a Netflix flick. No wonder Platinum sidekick Elon Musk's SpaceX CEO achieved instant rapture. Welcome to interplanetary exceptionalism, literally, as in the land of the free, home of the brave. In this new golden era will be, quote, far more exceptional than ever before, end quote. Imperial decline is over. Embrace the new brutally benign empire, or else. In practical terms, it all started predictably with a flurry of executive orders like a psychedelic vortex. Time to send troops to the southern border. El Paso is already blocked. To stop the illegal immigrant invasion, declare drug cartels as terrorist organizations, and rename the Gulf of Mexico Gulf of America. Add to it, declaring a state of emergency to boost energy production. Quote, "We are going to be using our energy powers to allow countries and entrepreneurs and people with a lot of money build big plans, all plans. We need double the energy that we already have," end quote. That's code for the empire necessarily exercising total control on AI. It was AI plans, AI and massive energy-consuming AI data centers. In between, Trump 2.0 will suspend every, quote, foreign aid, scheme for 90 days to assess their consistency with US national interests and foreign policy goals. Translation: Kiev, run for cover. Trump 2.0 will recognize only two genders, male and female. Get, quote, wokeness the hell out of our military immediately and make it like it used to be, end quote. And take back the Panama Canal, American Canal, anyone, American Canal, anyone. And never forget the intimation of a big trade war, possible 25% tariffs slapped on Canada and Mexico starting February 1st to force negotiations. And further on down the road, the target will be the U.S. Brussels is already on deep freak out mode. TikTok, who's there? I see no much problems with all that. I guess it's not important. It's not terrible and not positive, not negative. So anyway, so I don't care, about genders, about all of that wokeism. I guess you should avoid that subject. You just silence it. TikTok, who's there? On the domestic front, because even gay people, they are poor, they have more urgent things to do than to care about all that. TikTok, who's there? On the domestic front, one of the most intriguing gambits is the TikTok dossier. Quote, US TikTok deal may be worth $1 trillion, end quote, the president said. Buying 50% of TikTok might be a joint venture with essential input by Trump's son Barron. TikTok de facto helped Trump and Republicans to gain no less than 36% of the youth vote. The possible TikTok deal essentially forces China to split 50% of ownership with American shareholders. So it may continue to sell ads in the US. This is all about financial gains linked to advertising. The equity structure of TikTok is quite intriguing. 20% is held by the founder Shang Jiming. Other 20% is held by TikTok employees around the world. The remaining 60% is held by 3 American funds. So the US, in fact, has long held more than 50% of the shares. The difference now is that Trump, the US government, want to force founder Shang Jiming to sell his shares. Now imagine a parallel world where Brussels will force 50% of YouTube or X to be bought by an American oligarch, so it will be allowed to do business in Europe. This, in fact, might even actually happen one day. Now let's hit the foreign policy cauldron. Ukraine. Trump was evasive. A potential timeline for solving the proxy war in Ukraine could be discussed during an upcoming phone call with Putin soon. When it comes to keeping the sanctions on Russia, Trump defined them as tariffs. NATO gotta pay a lot more. Quote, NATO has to pay 55%. We are in the Ukraine war by $200 billion more than NATO. It's ridiculous because it affects them a lot more. We have an ocean in between, and we have spent $200 billion more on Ukraine than NATO has spent, and they've got to equalize. NATO had the Dutch Rutte Frutti seems to have got the message even before the inauguration. He's already spinning the 5% for all European citizens like a mad dog. What if healthcare and social services need to be cut? It's for the greater imperial good. EU, the brutally be, the brutally benign message to the EU, which Trump did not even mention, is that these chihuahuas belong to the US sphere of influence. Trump imperially ignored them, with one spectacular exception. Ask about a possible 100% tariff on those countries like Spain. Trump's answer was as a pearl. As a BRICS nation, yes. Someone forgot to tell Madrid they are now on BRICS. Yet the key point remains. Trump threatens to impose 100% tariffs on all BRICS nations going the de-dollarization way. Incidentally, 95% of payments between Russia and China are now in rubles and yuan. Missile defense. Trump, quote, I will direct our military to begin construction of the Great Iron Dome missile defense shield, which will all made in the US. Well, the Pentagon should ask the Houthis for some input. Venezuela, an intriguing twist. Trump envoy Rick Grenell is setting up direct talks with Caracas. Venezuela Interior Minister Diosdado Cabello is encouraging rebooted relations. And the Attorney General is willing to restart cooperation on smothering criminal gangs, extradition included. None of that means that regime change will be discarded. All that oil and all those minerals, the brutally benign empire badly needs them. Cuba, back to the list of state sponsors of terrorism. Havana originally made it during Trump 1.0 in 2021, and now with Marco Rubio in the State Department, prospects are bleak. Havana will always resist. Gaza. Trump was asked how confident he is about the Gaza ceasefire. I'm not confident. That's not our war. It's their war, end quote. But the best was saved for last. Quote, Gaza is like a massive demolition site. That place is. It's really got rebuilt in a different way. Gaza's interesting. It's a phenomenal location on the sea. Best weather is like some beautiful things could be done with. Never underestimate this year's model, the golden, exceptional, brutally benign empire. No other entity can rebrand a genocide into a great real estate opportunity in a phenomenal location. Well, that's it. Yeah, I've heard that from Gaza. That was a great location. I even heard that they have oil. Who knows? That's it by now. Bye, Pepe.